So here I am in the wetlands because my wife was kind enough to offer my son some help on a science project. So we're out here grabbing some mud while I'm anticipating tomorrow's CPI report. Good morning. My name is Adam Kahn and I'm the Rational Investor. Today is Monday, February 12th. Before I talk about the CPI report for tomorrow, my hope, if you haven't already, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, make some comments. Let me know what you think about the economy. So, my hope for tomorrow's report is the number comes in high. I actually hope that we continue to have a little bit of inflation and that GDP stays strong and that the employment reports stay good. To me, that's a strong economy. When I was a kid, my parents always said that normal inflation rate is around 4%. The 2% target that the Feds come up with is just some made up number that they've come up with. Maybe if we stay in the threes, that's not the end of the world and that's not such a big deal. I think the economy is doing well, and the longer they hold it higher for longer, the better the economy is. Like, if there's no reason to drop the rates or cut them, maybe we're doing really well and people are just nervous, which is what I hope happens and stays that way for a long time. But today, the bond market didn't do a whole lot. Stocks seemed a little bit mixed, but strong in general. It was nice to see Disney's been really strong since they had their earnings and a few others. And as you guys know, I think the markets are going to continue. I don't want to fight the trend. That saying, the trend is your friend. I think it continues until something comes along that changes it. I know people talk about the high credit card debt and default rates going up and things like that, but we're actually just getting into numbers that, from my perspective, just make sense, especially the default rates. And the credit card debt, let's talk about that a little bit. The inflation that's come through, of course, there's higher credit card debt. If things are more expensive and you use your credit card to charge things, if you were charging $100 a month on your credit card for groceries, you're now probably charging 200 or 150 or some number that's going to be higher than it was before when things were less expensive. This weekend was Super Bowl. I live in Las Vegas. I went down to the strip a couple times to check out things, and it was busy as can be. I know that's to be expected with it being Super Bowl, but my point is that's what's to be expected. We don't see this huge correction. We don't see this huge slowdown. It was super busy and people were spending tons of money. Everywhere you went, restaurants were jam packed with lines, the tickets were expensive, shows were expensive. We went to some event. A friend of mine's a lawyer and he does paperwork for events, and they had four different events they were doing this weekend. Every event was super busy and they did better than expected. And the tickets aren't cheap. The VIP area, or the area we were sitting in for the last one, which was the Guy Fieri's tailgate party, my understanding is the tickets were 500 bucks a piece and they were crowded. So I just don't see this big slowdown that everybody else is talking about. And you can't tell from just looking at people, but nobody seemed like they were overextended to be there. I think they were just out and having fun. And same with the other event. We went to this one that I did the little video of Shaq, who's becoming a DJ. It was super cool. And it was so crowded, you could barely walk in half the space. So things aren't cheap. They are expensive, but they're selling out. I mean, U2 tickets are expensive. I just don't see it going into deflation, and I'm not sure why you guys would see it any differently. I think there's a lot of rhetoric out there, and people complain, and the next generation, they're complaining that it's not fair, but they're then going out and buying avocado toast and coffee for too much at the same time. Maybe people just need to cut back their spending and be a little more careful instead of blaming CEOs and government officials and that life isn't fair. Like, to me, life is fair to everybody. Like, maybe we get dealt a different cards and we have to deal with that from there. But the advantages and disadvantages, we all have to deal with them the same way. I see the commenters. I have friends that are the same way. They're tirelessly blaming society for problems. At the same time, they're not saving their money. They're spending on frivolous things, whether that's going out and eating, going to clubs, or whatever it is, instead of working really hard to save for the future. People are very short sighted. I know that's hard to hear. Nobody likes to hear it, but read through the comments on some of these videos and see how excited people are about talking about the housing market's unfair, it needs to crash, or stock markets, or whatever it is that they think that they need to crash. Well, be careful what you wish for, because if and when a crash does come, well, unless you're in the position where you have so much money that you can live off of treasury dividends or income, maybe you won't have as much if there's a real crash, and it's a possibility that you could end up losing your job. I don't think you're going to want to be unemployed and in a worse position just because now the crash is coming and oh look, it finally happened, it's a good thing. No, don't root for those things. Root for the economy to continue to do well, and just do a better job at trying to pay attention to what you spend and where you can try to save. I get it. I don't like that things are more expensive either. Gas bills have gone up a ton, electric bills have gone up a ton, the water bills, and then property taxes and everything else. It's not cheap to live your life right now, but you do the best. Maybe you go out to dinner less. Maybe you don't get that avocado toast. Maybe you do what I do and you make your own coffee pods because it costs 20 cents instead of $2. And you just adjust the best you can. Anyway, I'm going to be quick because I'm going to go help my wife get the mud. So I'm going to cut out a little bit early today, and do me a favor again, thumbs up, like, subscribe, and have a good day.